Did you know there's a country that's both the most obese and the least visited in the world? You might think it sounds impossible, but today we're going to explore the astonishing story of Nauru, a tiny island in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. Trust me, you don't want to miss this, because by the end of this video, you'll discover lessons about prosperity, decline, and resilience that could change your perspective on the world forever. Welcome to the Forgotten Paradise, a place that once stood shoulder to shoulder with the richest nations on Earth and now faces one of the most shocking transformations in modern history. In this video, we're going to uncover the untold tales of Nauru, a nation whose incredible rise and devastating fall are as dramatic as any movie. From booming phosphate riches to environmental destruction, and from social collapse to global isolation, this is a story that you've never heard before. So, what happened to Nauru? How did a paradise island become one of the least visited places on Earth? Stick around because we'll explore all of that and much more, and I'll reveal a powerful lesson at the end of this journey, one that could change the way you think about our planet's future. Trust me, you'll want to watch till the very end. Are you ready? Let's dive into the heart of the Pacific Ocean and discover the tragic yet inspiring journey of Nauru, where paradise and hell are just a heartbeat apart. Tiny island. Nauru, where you can walk around an entire country. Imagine a country so small you could explore it entirely in just one afternoon. Welcome to Nauru, the world's third smallest nation, measuring only 21 km², about the size of a small town. On this tiny island, everything feels within reach. The beaches, the administrative center, and the homes, all visible from almost anywhere, creating an incredibly compact and unique community. While places like Vatican City captivate as the spiritual heart of Catholicism and Monaco dazzles with glamour on the French Riviera, Nauru remains a hidden gem tucked away in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. Here, time seems to stand still, far from the glare of the modern world spotlight. But don't let its small size fool you. Nauru holds stories, mysteries, and secrets you wouldn't expect from such a tiny place. And if you think its size is the most interesting thing about Nauru, wait until you hear about its one-of-a-kind transportation system. It's something you won't believe until you see it for yourself. Now, picture this small island with a 30 km waistline, so small that you can drive around it in just 1 hour. On your journey around Nauru, you'll experience the serenity of blue seas, breathtaking landscapes, and quiet roads without a care in the world. With only one gas station and just a handful of vehicles, traffic jams are non-existent. Just pure, unhurried exploration. But that's not. Nauru boasts something even more unique. A 4 km railway built in 1975, which once transported the island's golden resource, phosphate. It's now a quiet reminder of a time when this small nation experienced its glorious rise. But where's that precious phosphate now? And how did Nauru, once one of the wealthiest places on Earth, find itself facing massive challenges? Join me as we uncover the surprising tale of Nauru, where prosperity and decline collide in a fascinating, unexpected story. Let's dive into this hidden paradise and discover the untold truth behind one of the world's most unique nations. The non-existent Pacific, mystery of a nation without a center. Imagine a country without a political heart. Unbelievable, right? Yet that's exactly what Nauru is, a tiny island nation that completely breaks the rules of what we expect from a country's structure. While other nations boast their grand capitals with towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, Nauru takes an entirely different approach. Instead of a busy metropolis, Nauru has Yaren, a small district quietly tucked on the southern coast. Here, the parliament building sits next to modest homes, while the embassies of Taiwan and Australia are nestled right in residential areas. Even the country's only international airport calls Yaren home. This combination of official institutions and everyday life creates a scene that is unlike anything you'll find anywhere else in the world. But here's the twist, man. Isn't a capital in the traditional sense. It's more like a small fishing village running an entire country. There are no wide boulevards or grand squares, just narrow roads winding through houses and palm trees. Politics here blend seamlessly with daily life, creating a unique picture of what it truly means to govern a nation. Curious about what life is like in a country without an official capital, wondering how a nation functions without that central hub. And what makes Nauru so special in the eyes of its visitors? Join us as we dive deeper into the incredible story of this one-of-a-kind island, uncovering the secrets of a place that defies all expectations, where visitors rarely set foot. Have you ever dreamed of visiting a place so remote, so exclusive, that only a handful of people have ever stepped foot there? Welcome to Nauru, a hidden paradise in the Pacific Ocean that welcomes fewer than 200 tourists each year. Yes, you read that right. 200 people in an entire year. But why is this breathtaking island so unknown? The answer lies in its incredible isolation. You've decided to visit Nauru. First, you'll face the challenge of booking a flight. Only one airline flies here, and the schedules are limited, with prices that might make you reconsider your plans. But that's just the start. Next comes the visa process, which is so complex that many give up before they even start. But don't let that stop you. If you push through, the reward is beyond worth it. You'll become part of a truly elite group. Fewer than 15,000 people have ever set foot on this island, making it a rare experience even more exclusive than climbing Mount Everest. You'll join the ranks of those who've uncovered one of the Pacific's best-kept secrets. But Nauru isn't just a hard-to-reach destination. It's a place full of surprises and paradoxes. Behind the peaceful beauty of this tiny island lies a fascinating story. What makes it so isolated? And how did this island, once the richest country in the world, fall into such obscurity? Do you want to uncover the secrets of this mysterious paradise? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into Nauru's incredible story in the next part. The island without an Ari, a peace amidst the ocean. Can you imagine a country without a single soldier? No tanks, no fighter jets, just pure peace. Welcome to Nauru, a tiny island in the Pacific where tranquility isn't just an idea, it's a way of life. Here, the only sounds you'll hear are the waves crashing on the shore and the wind rustling through palm trees. But how does such a peaceful place exist without an army? The answer lies in Nauru's unique relationship with Australia. While most countries pour billions into defense, Nauru has chosen a different path. Instead of building an army, they've placed their trust in their giant neighbor, Australia, to keep them safe. This special agreement has stood the test of time, and it's one that has allowed Nauru to focus its resources on something even more important: its people. With this unconventional approach, Nauru doesn't waste money on weapons or military training. Instead, the island invests in education, healthcare, and community development, ensuring a higher quality of life for its citizens. Security within the island is handled by a small but highly effective police force, which is an integral part of the community, focusing not just on law enforcement, but on meeting the needs of the people. This strategy isn't just simple, it's incredibly effective. For a country with a population smaller than many neighborhoods in big cities, having no military gives Nauru a unique advantage. It allows the island to prioritize what truly matters, building a peaceful, prosperous society. But Nauru's story doesn't end here. Want to know what daily life is like on an island without an army? How does a tiny nation face global challenges without traditional defense? And how does Nauru hold its ground on the international stage without a military? Stay with us as we continue exploring the fascinating world of Nauru in the next chapter. Life on the island of gigantic numbers. Imagine a place where being fat isn't just a condition, but a part of cultural identity. Welcome to Nauru, an island where 80% of the population carries a history that is both remarkable and heavy. But before you judge, let me tell you, this story is more complicated than you might think. In the past, a full figure wasn't just seen as a sign of abundance. It was a symbol of success and happiness. Leaders proudly showcased their bigger bellies like Olympic gold medals, believing they were signs of wealth and well-being. But what they didn't realize was that this cultural pride was unknowingly setting the stage for a health disaster. When Nauru's main resource, phosphate, began to run out, the island faced a harsh truth. The fertile farmland vanished, replaced by a reliance on processed foods, loaded with fat and sugar. Combine that with a sedentary lifestyle, and you have the perfect recipe for a health crisis that no one could have predicted. But the story doesn't end there. Today, while 40% of the population struggles with diabetes, another silent killer is lurking. Smoking. Nauru isn't just known for its obesity epidemic, it also ranks among the countries with the highest smoking rates in the world. The health challenges here are staggering, but but they also tell a deeper story about the island's journey and the complex forces that have shaped it. Stay with me as we explore Nauru's story, a tale of prosperity, decline, and the challenges of overcoming its health crisis. So, how does such a tiny island bear so many health problems? And is there any hope for Nauru's future? Join me as we explore the amazing efforts of the people here in facing this challenge, and how they are step-by-step rewriting the definition of health and happiness on their island, from wealthy paradise to debt-ridden desert. Let's turn back the pages of Nauru's surprising history together. Can you believe that this tiny Pacific island was once called the Kuwait of the Pacific? It's incredible, but true. Nauru was once the richest country in the world per capita. The story begins in the 1970s when Nauru discovered a treasure beneath its feet, phosphate. This white gold, formed over centuries from seabird droppings, transformed Nauru into a prosperous empire overnight. In 1975, the average Nauruan earned $76,000, 3 times more than an American. Nauru became a mini Las Vegas in the Pacific, where Cadillacs and Land Rovers paraded on narrow streets, like they were cruising down Beverly Hills. But like all fairy tales, this beautiful dream couldn't last forever. Rapid exploitation quickly depleted the precious resource. In just a few decades, the wealthy paradise turned into a debt-ridden desert. All that remains of the golden era are abandoned cars, crumbling buildings, and a population facing a harsh reality. But Nauru's story doesn't end there. How could a country plummet from such heights to such depths so quickly? And is there any way for Nauru to escape this predicament? Join me as we explore the dramatic twists in the tale of this strange island. When paradise turns into hell. The heartbreaking story of Nauru. Have you ever heard of a cursed paradise? Let me tell you about Nauru, the island where dreams of wealth turned into an environmental nightmare. Phosphate, Nauru's white gold, was once an economic miracle, transforming this tiny island nation into one of the richest places on Earth. But like a Greek tragedy, this very resource became a double-edged sword, cutting off the island's future. Can you imagine? In just a few decades, Nauru's lush landscape changed beyond recognition. Once thriving tropical forests are now a wasteland, filled with deep pits like the surface of the moon. Sadly, warning bells rang as early as the 1960s, but no one seemed to listen. The situation became so dire that in 1962, even Australia's Prime Minister, Robert Menzies, had to publicly acknowledge responsibility. They even considered a bold plan, relocating Nauru's entire population to another island. Can you believe it? A nation forced to abandon its homeland due to environmental devastation. But the people of Nauru chose to stay. In the shadow of an uncertain future, they decided to face the consequences of their short-lived wealth. It was a brave decision, but was it the right one? Nauru's story doesn't end here. How can such a tiny nation recover from such an environmental disaster? And are there lessons from this story for today's world? Join me as we explore the next dramatic turns in Nauru's journey, where the line between paradise and hell is thinner than from wealthy paradise to poverty abyss. Imagine a nation that once stood shoulder to shoulder with the world's richest powers, now struggling to survive. That's the heartbreaking story of Nauru, a tiny island in the Pacific Ocean that has experienced a dizzying economic roller coaster. When the phosphate gold mine ran dry in the 1980s, Nauru plunged into a never-ending crisis. The economy collapsed, leaving behind a wasteland and a gloomy future. In a desperate effort, they discovered a secondary phosphate deposit. But this new hope lasted only a few short years. In just a decade, Nauru once again stood on the edge of the abyss. The economy was shattered, the environment severely damaged, but this was just the beginning of a series of tragedies. When things seemed like they couldn't get any worse, fate had even more horrifying shocks in store for Nauru. Are you curious to know what Nauru had to do to survive? And is there any hope for the future of this island? Join me as we explore the next chapter in Nauru's dramatic story, where the line between paradise and hell is thinner than ever. Prison in Paradise, the heartbreaking story of Nauru. Imagine a tiny tropical paradise in the Pacific Ocean, once a symbol of wealth and prosperity. That's Nauru, the small island with a tragic story I'm about to tell you. When the white gold phosphate ran out, Nauru fell into a whirlwind of chaos, corruption, and money laundering spread like an incurable disease. Climate change, like an invisible enemy, gradually destroyed the fishing industry, the people's last lifeline. Can you believe it? A country with an 80% unemployment rate, where hope seems buried along with the depleted phosphate mines. And then, like a twist in a horror movie, in 2001, Australia made a shocking proposal: turn Nauru into a detention center for refugees. Facing bankruptcy, the Nauru government had to agree. Thus, the Nauru Regional Processing Center was born, a name that sounds harmless but hides a brutal reality. Imagine being a refugee, seeking a better life in Australia. But instead of reaching your dream country, you're sent to Nauru, where terrible living conditions, abuse, and human rights violations occur daily. No wonder the International Criminal Court had to speak up, along with strong condemnation from the UN and human rights organizations worldwide. But the story doesn't end there. In a desperate attempt to control information, the Nauru government even banned Facebook in 2015. They said it was to protect people from pornography, but everyone knew the truth behind it. They wanted to hide what was happening in the detention center, and guess what? It wasn't until 2016 that Nauru officially abolished the death penalty. This shows that life on the island is still full of tensions and harsh policies. Nauru has now become a painful symbol, a warning about the price to pay when resources are depleted and choices disappear. From a wealthy paradise, this island has turned into an open prison where hope seems buried along with the phosphate mines of the past. Nauru's story isn't just a lesson about environment and economy, but also a painful reminder about the value of human rights and dignity. Will there ever be a day when Nauru can escape this dark shadow and find the light of hope again? That's the question the whole world is waiting to be answered. And so, we've come to the end of our journey exploring Nauru, the mysterious island in the heart of the Pacific Ocean. Through surprising stories and shocking facts, we hope we've given you a deep insight into this place. Nauru isn't just a strange destination. It's a profound lesson about the fragility of prosperity and the importance of protecting the environment. If you're like us, always eager to explore the hidden corners of the world and immerse yourself in unique cultures, join us on our next adventures. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our journeys. We promise to keep bringing you fascinating stories and fresh perspectives about the world around us. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. See you on the next exciting adventure.